So let's dive into budgeting and financing. I'm going to start with financing, not budgeting. And then when we'll talk about budgeting, again, I'm going to take you over and share with you my screen, and we'll talk about that in a second. So first, financing. Financing an ADU can come in different forms. Let's start with the easiest ones. If you have savings, of course, that's a good place where you can put your savings. The return on the investment is going to be tremendous. You'll see it when you do the numbers and you do your budgeting and you'll do your analysis like we've done before. Second option is if you have equity in your property, then you can get a HELOC, an equity line on your property to get your ADU developed. If you have a high mortgage rate, you can always do a refi, cash out, and that's going to get you a better rate on your mortgage and cash out of your equity that you have in your property. And if none of those is available, then you can always go in the route of getting a construction loan. Now, I do see some lenders out there saying that they have an ADU type of loan, but essentially it's the same as a construction loan. And even on construction loans, there's different type of construction loans, and there's different type of lenders and the way that they're doing it. Generally speaking, with all lenders that's going to give you a construction loan, the way it works is they're going to give you a loan based on future value. The way it works is they're going to appraise what is going to be the future value of that ADU, and based on that, they're going to give you the loan. In order to do that, you will need to have your own money invested into getting your designs, your plans, your engineering in place, because once you have those, they're able to give you an assessment of how much the future value of it is going to be. They're not able to get it out of thin air, so they do need something in place. Now, once you have those and you're communicating with a construction lender, get a clear understanding of what exactly and how exactly they're going to appraise it and what exactly they're going to get you in terms of developing the unit. Construction lenders usually are going to get you between 60 to 70, some of them even going to go to 80% of the future value of the unit. Meaning, if your unit is going to be appraised at, just for the sake of it, that at the end of the process it's going to be valued at $300,000, they're going to give you between 60 to 70% of that future value of $300,000 that you can then go ahead and build it. Now, the way that the appraisers are working right now with ADUs, that's something that you also need to know, is that unfortunately, for now, that's what we're seeing in the past few years, no lender and no appraisal is giving an ADU 100% value compared to the main house. What do I mean by that? If you remember, in the previous video, we talked about how to do an analysis of the investment. And one of it was, what is the future value of your ADU is going to be based on how much properties were sold in your neighborhood. And if you got the number that properties in your neighborhood were sold for $500, that's the number that you were putting into how much it's going to increase the future value of your property. Something to know is that appraisers do not give it 100%. So far, I was able to see that appraisers are giving it maximum of 75%. Meaning, if your neighborhood per square foot house values is $500, your ADU is going to be valued by the appraiser for mortgage purposes at $375 per square foot. Now, why it's being done this way? There's no clear answers. That's how the banks are working right now with it. By the way, a year ago it would be 50%. So we're in a good place right now. Lenders are catching up, and now it's 75%. So be aware of that, okay? So whatever money you're going to get from a construction lender, if you choose to go this route, is probably going to be very much equivalent to whatever the appraiser is going to come back with the value of the ADU at the end of it. Okay, now let's now that this is clear and your options of financing is clear, and again, let me go back to it again. Sorry, it's savings, HELOC, which is line of equity, cash out refinance, and construction loan. Now, if you decide to go with a construction loan, get a few construction lenders to give you options for that. If you're going with cash refinance, mortgage rates are pretty low right now. It's February 2021 and rates are crazy low, so most likely you can get cash out refinance. If you're doing HELOC, go with your bank that you're banking right now. Most likely they're going to give you the best HELOC option. If not, just shop around with lenders. Lenders are just out there to give money if you're willing to invest it into your property. Now let's go, and now, like I said, I'm gonna record my screen right now and I'm gonna share it with you. For this one, again, we're gonna use the development budget spreadsheet, so have that available in front of you, because I'm gonna type in information over there, so you'll be able to see exactly how I'm doing the budgeting for an ADU project. Okay, so let's go back to our spreadsheet here. And now we're going to go to the tab where it shows here on the bottom development budget, and we're going to click on that one. And over here we're going to start typing in some information. So first I want to give you some general guideline and information. You need to know that ADU development, and I'm sure that you know it by now, but I'm going to say it again, you're going to have different moving parts and different things involved in it, okay? You're going to have the cost of design and planning, you're going to have cost of land survey if needed, you're going to have the cost of soil engineer if needed, you're going to have your city fees, you're going to have your construction fees, and contingencies. Of course, it's a number I'm always saying that you need to take into consideration. It's for surprises, and then you're going to have your total. What you need to know before we started talking about budget is you need to know how much total money you're going to invest into it. Okay, so in order to determine your budget, you need to know whether you're qualified for HELOC. You need to know if you're going to have a construction loan. You need to know if you're going to refinance, if you're going to use your savings. Once you have your total budget that you're going to use for the project, then you can start diving in over here and start typing information. Okay. By the way, you're going to see here some more spreadsheet that you can use. This is a loan calculator. If you're going to go here, you can see that you can put in the total investment. One second. There we go. Total investment that you're planning to invest. In this case, I put in $200,000. The interest rate based on what the loan that you're going to get. What is the duration of the loan? I put 360 years. In this case, it's 360 months, not years. And then what is the loan amount? Meaning, assuming that if the total investment is $200,000, you're going to put some of your own money into it. And then when is the start loan date? Once you're going to put in this information, you're going to see this over here. For example, if I'll change this for a second, you'll see $180,000. Everything is going to change. Okay. And if I'll do, total investment 180 and the loan amount 150. Let's say the loan amount is going to be 130,000, and then everything is going to change. Okay, then you'll see, okay, what is the monthly payments, what is the property tax amount, and what is the total monthly payments here, total loan payments, and total interest paid. Okay, if you're going to go to the by the way, the property tax amount here is based on LA County. If you need to change that, you just double click on it, you put it over here, you change the percentage over here, and you'll get to your property taxes. But other than that, everything else should be automatically generated by those here. If you're going to go to the amortization table, you'll see how much you're going to pay every month. Okay. For the next 360 months. And if you're going to change the start date over here, today plus, let's say it's going to be starting in about, your loan is going to start kicking in 180 days. then you'll see that your first payment is going to be August 13 over here. Okay, this is just for you to use and see how much a loan can help you, and based on the rates that you're going to get. And again, let's go back over here. So once you figure out what is your budget and what is the total investment you're looking to do, you need to start looking into the numbers. Now, for now, we're going to use an ADU size of 749. Here, this is going to take it directly from here. So I don't want you to touch this one here. When you're changing the size, go over here, change the size of the unit over here. This way, the numbers here are going to be generated automatically. So for now, it's showing 749, and that's the size of the unit. Design and planning. Design and planning, you need to get numbers from architects, from engineers, from drafters, whoever it is that you're going to use. If you're going to use a design build firm, or if you chose to hire a contract to do it for you, at least get a breakdown for that as well. But put in the numbers. For now, what I was using here is $12,000 for the cost of design and planning. By the way, over here you can see different costs of design and planning. Those are the costs that we're working based off when we're doing our design and planning for our projects. Land survey, for now, I'm not going to put in any number, because what I'm recommending to any homeowner, if there isn't a requirement, do not do a land survey. Only if there's a requirement. Land survey are fast. Land survey are pretty easy to get done, especially on flat areas. If you're not hillside, most likely you won't need one, so no need to invest into that. Same thing for soil engineer, although soil engineer takes longer. If you're hillside, most likely you will need it. By the way, on the chapter when I'm going to talk about doing a feasibility, you will know if you need any of those. City fees, for now I calculated 55. Actually, this is pretty low, because right now I think for that size in that area, it's probably going to be closer to 7,000. So we'll put in $7,000 in city fees, and you can inquire with your local planning department about what's going to be your fees approximately based on the size. And then on the construction over here, here's what you need to do. Once you're going to double click on it, put in the size and multiply by the cost per square feet. Now, just 1 second. Over here on the bottom, okay, I'm giving you some guidelines to use. Now, those guidelines are based on my experience, my knowledge. You should inquire with your local contractors and get some, ballpark numbers. Depends where you are, but I'm using those numbers here. Okay, so for now what I'm using this number for addition or new construction, because I'm going to say it's going to be a new ADU of 749 square feet, and the average for, if it's a one story, it's the average of $200 to $250 per square feet. Okay, so I'm going to use the high range of $250 per square feet. So I'm doing 749 square feet times 250. It's going to give me 187. Okay, then you'll see that your total cost is going to be $226,875, and the contingency, by the way, it's 10% of the overall cost. Always have a contingency, always. You will never know what surprise is going to hit you down the road. There's always surprises. There are surprises by city asking you to provide more engineering. There's surprises by the city, not the city, by you making a change that's going to cost you more money. There are surprises with existing conditions. So always have a contingency. If you didn't use it, great. But guess what? You most likely will need to use it. 10%, by the way, is the minimum. It's always better if you have more. That's how you're going to want to set your budget. That's basically going to show you what's going to be the overall cost of your investment. Now, if you've done your feasibility, if you've done your research and you see that you need to have a land survey, put it in, $3,000. Okay, if you know that you need soil engineer, put it in, $7,000, for example. Sorry, 7, not 70. Then you'll see that how much is your total investment. Now, if your total investment out of pocket is bigger than what you have set as a budget, is bigger than what you're able to finance, is bigger than what you're able to invest, you should reduce the size of the ADU. Do not think that you can cut cost on labor, on materials, on city fees, on things that needs to be done. Those are most likely you won't be able to save much. And if you're going to be able to save, it's not going to be affecting the overall project at all. The main way to make sure that your budget meet your overall cost and meet your overall whatever it is that you're ready and willing and have to invest is by changing the size of the ADU. So if this is too much, you need to go back and change over here. The ADU size, the ADU type, the structure, and so on. Talk to your design and build firm. If you chose to hire a design and build firm, they can help you. If not, start inquiring and see where you can lower your cost. But the main place to lower the cost is by ADU size over here. I'll give you an example. This is now showing 749. If I'll go here, I'll change this to be 550 square feet. One second. And then this is going to be 550 square feet. $183,000. It's $30,000 less. Sorry, it's $40,000 less than what it was before. $40,000 difference. Okay, so that's how you make sure that your budget works together with what you have available to invest on your project. Okay, I'm gonna go back to be face to face with you so we can talk about it a bit more. Okay, now that you've seen how to work your budget, overall budget for your ADU development, I want to emphasize a few things. And by the way, at the end of it, I'm going to go back again to the spreadsheet to show you another thing. But now that you have that, first thing is do not manipulate the numbers. The numbers that you're getting, the numbers that you have are the numbers that you need to work with. Trying to manipulate it will just cause you to be over budget later, to be stuck with a project that you cannot complete, to be in a place that you don't want to be. So again, do not manipulate the numbers, work with the numbers. With that being said, if the numbers are showing you that your budget does not meet with what you're planning to develop, meaning that the overall budget and the overall cost of the unit that you're trying to develop is more than what you're able to afford because your savings, your HELOC, your construction loan, whatever it is, doesn't match, you need to go back and change the type and the size of the ADU. That's the only way to make the numbers work. If you need to change the size of the ADU, do that, because cost of designs, cost of plans, cost of engineering, cost of construction, of labor, of materials, of city fees, you can't really play with those too much. Even if you're going to have some savings in one place, you're not going to be able to get it all across. So trying to manipulate the numbers and trying to enforce a specific size when the budget doesn't work will not cut it. Just change the size of the ADU that will meet your budget. That's the best advice I can give you over here when you see that the numbers do not work together. And that's what I'm doing with all of our customers. When we see that the budget doesn't make sense, it doesn't work for what the owner is trying to achieve, we're saying, hey, let's go back and change the overall size of the unit to make it that your budget is going to fit. You need to fit the unit to the budget, not vice versa. That's it on everything I just showed you. Now, I'm going to go back to the spreadsheet. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to, now that we have all the budget in place and everything, now I'm going to show you how do you calculate and how do you see your return on investment. Meaning, once you have all the information that you gathered on the analysis previously, and now you know what's going to be the rent that you can collect, and now that you know how much you need to invest into this development, you want to know how much or how long, it's going to take you to collect that money back. And it's pretty easy. I'll show you how it's being done, but I'm going to show you how to see how long it's going to take you to return your investment after you have paid also all of your loan cost, city fees, because you are going to have, of course, city fees every year and so forth. So I'll take you back to the spreadsheet and I'll show it to you over there. Okay, so we're back on our spreadsheet here for the development budget. So far, we were able to cover, everything from getting the future value of the unit that you're going to build, determining the size that you're going to build, determining the rent that you can collect on it. If you're using a loan, then you should enter the information of the loan that you're gonna use over here. Like I said, on the tab that shows loan calculator, just put in the total investment, interest rate for your loan, the duration, the loan amount, so it can calculate those costs. And again, if you're gonna use those numbers here and put in all the information that is in regards to the actual different development costs you're gonna have. And then if you're going to go back here, you'll see, by the way, let me change it because we were checking for 749, so we can have accurate numbers. Let's just a second. This is 749 square feet, and this is here going to be 749, but this needs to be 749 as well. There we go. So here's the numbers that you should look at once you gathered everything. Of course, first, what is the added value? Remember, most appraisals are going to give you 75% of this number. Okay? Now, if you're going to compare it, they're going to give you 75% of this number. The added value is 355, but the development cost is 237. So, compared, this is, still, just do a quick number. This one times this times 75%. A lender is going to appraise it at 266. But the actual cost is 231. That's with contingencies and everything in place. Everything I was adding over here as extra cost. It could be that you're not going to have those costs, but still, let's say you have those. You can still see that the appraiser is going to come back more than what the actual investment is. Now, going back over here, that's the rent. Okay, in here I was using numbers just to go back over here. That there's a $200,000 loan. Sorry, $200,000 investment, but let's change it to 230 because we're going to make real numbers right now. Okay, based on what we saw that the overall investment is. And then we'll see that the loan amount is going to be, let's do it, 170. Okay, and then you'll see, again, important, update the numbers as you go. You'll see that the monthly rent was $22.50. Okay, we got that one on the market research. The monthly payment on the loan, on a loan of $170,000 is $1,050. The gross monthly profit is $1,200. Now, what is gross means? Whatever you're collecting minus your payments. And the payments, by the way, just for you to see, it's here. The payments are for the monthly payments on the loan, property taxes amount, and like I said, this one here is for LA area, which is 1.25% of the investment cost. Okay, and your total monthly payments are $1,050, so it goes over here, and then your gross profit is $1,200. Your gross yearly profit is $14,000, as you can see it over here. Those are the numbers you want to look at. Okay, look at those, do your math, do your numbers, make sure you get those right, and don't play with it trying to think you can do things cheaper. Always have a security net. If you're able to do it cheaper during construction, great, but most likely you'll be with those numbers. Okay, next chapter, we're going to start talking about getting feasibility done for your ADU.